Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second value proposition for improving neural implant devices for spinal cord injuries.
My name is Mark Bray.
My name is Neeraj Doda.
I'm Ali Guthrie.
And I'm Danielle LeBlanc.
Nearly 300,000 Americans currently live with spinal cord injuries, with about 18,000 new cases yearly. These injuries are often from car accidents, violence, and recreational activities, with almost 100% of victims suffering from complete or partial tetraplegia or paraplegia. Paralysis can significantly decrease the quality of life in patients by reducing their capacity to perform activities of daily living. Neural implants, which are devices placed inside the body to interact with and direct the activity of neurons, have been used to partially restore function to paralyzed people suffering from conditions varied such as epilepsy, OCD, and neuropathic pain. However, current implants do not allow limbs to be fully stimulated. Feeling sensation in the limb is important as it allows for the patient to detect danger to their body and respond appropriately to environmental cues such as hot or cold. There's a strong need for a device that is minimally invasive, cost-effective, and a biocompatible neuroprosthesis that will restore limb function and sensation to the patients with spinal cord injuries. Our clients are fully paralyzed patients, and this device will help them gain function and sensation to their limbs.
Our approach. In our diagram, an implant is connected to the brain and sends signals, as indicated by the blue arrow, to the electrodes in the spinal cord, which then sends messages to the central and peripheral nervous system connected to the four limbs to help with movement and sensation of touch. Before sensation of touch to occur, the electrodes would send signals back, as indicated by the red arrows, back to the implant for the brain to know something is being touched. Our device needs to be able to communicate well with the nervous system and different regions of the brain. Specific to the tetraplegic patients we're looking to help, we will need to ensure that our device is properly connected with the cerebellum, which is responsible for motor functions, and the parietal lobe, which is responsible for tactile senses. To enable this communication, implanted electrodes will be surgically placed in the brain, where it electrically stimulates the specific brain areas we want. The electrodes will be made from a combination of nanoelectronic thread and silicon nanowires. Nanoelectronic thread electrodes are beneficial because they are thin, tiny, and don't trigger the human body to create scar tissues, which makes them long-term, sustainable, and durable. Silicon nanowires are beneficial because they can provide high-density stimulation and recording of neurons and their signals. These materials will also be used for electrodes on the limbs. For electrode size, the electrodes will have a maximum diameter of 2 millimeters and a length of 13 millimeters to ensure that the proper current and voltage is being sent out. For electrodes function, they need to be able to send out a current of 30 milliamps and a maximum voltage of 8.5 volts, so accurate and effective signals are being communicated throughout the body. Along with communication, there are two cellular processes that our device will look to modify. One being neuron-to-neuron communication, where we try to rebuild the broken network of nerves that results from spinal cord injuries, allowing for signals to be passed along throughout the body. The other being the stimulation neurogenesis, through the rebuilding of the extracellular matrix of the damaged nerve cells. Overall, the aim is to obtain government funding from the National Institutes of Health to help start in the development of this device in order to help tetraplegic patients.
According to the National Spinal Cord Injury Statistics Center, the lifetime economic costs of spinal injury range from $1.2 million to $5 million per individual. These costs reflect only the medical costs, which are largely subsidized by tax dollars. The figures don't reflect the economic impacts due to lost wages or productivity. We estimated that it would cost about $5 million to research and develop this device, and an additional $50 million to obtain the appropriate regulatory approval and bring the device to market to those that need it. We mentioned earlier that there are currently 300,000 people who live with spinal cord injury. This translates to a lifetime cost of $450 billion. So investing in this device will result in huge long-term cost savings, which can be reinvested into the economy, and while bringing purpose and meaning to the lives of hundreds of thousands of people.
As we suspected, we do not have competitors that are implementing similar devices to help people who are suffering from tetraplegia. Our competitors are from both large industries and from academic researchers. We've seen that they have developed such devices that use wireless implants that are able to bypass damaged nerves in the spinal cord and are able to increase function of patients' limbs. Another competitor that we have been closely looking at has developed an implant that is also connected to vibrating bands located on the biceps and trigger vibrations when the patient experiences sensations from surrounding stimuli. This table here can show you what separates us from our competitors. We have developed a device that combines both a wireless implant capable of bypassing damaged nerves and is also able to send signals to electrodes to provide the patient with strong sensory inputs. Patients are not only able to regain fluid muscle function with our device, but they're also able to experience sensations that they once felt prior to their injury.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. Are there any questions?